everyone, my name is Muna and today's video is going to be my April and May wrap up. I know it's June and why am I filming my April wrap up and also my May. I will tell you that in May I haven't read any books and that's why when I wanted to film my April wrap up, I didn't have any time. So I wanted to mix it with my May wrap up when May didn't happen, like in May I didn't read any books. So that's why I decided to film my April wrap up right now. And I'll just say that in May I was in a reading slump. I wasn't in any mood to read any books. So yeah, the first book I read in April is Alice's Adventure in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I read a classic for 2016 and I think everyone knows the story of Alice, that she's a girl like 6 or 7 years old. One day she's in a park or like in the garden and she falls into a rabbit hole and comes to the world of Wonderland. I will say that I didn't love the story, and it's not that I hated it or like disliked it, but it's not one of my favorite. I gave the book like 3 out of 5 stars. The book was okay, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Like I think when I was reading the book, I kept remembering the movie that Disney made in 2016, starring Johnny Depp and the voice of the late Alan Rickman and Maya or Mia something. I forgot her name, or her name is really hard to spell. And in the book, Alice is young, but in the movie, she's a late teenager or like early 20s, and I wasn't a big fan of Alice. Like I didn't say she was curious or like Snoopy. Like I was irritated by her. I think she was annoying to the least. Like please let the next story come. Like that's what it was about, and I don't know how to say it, but I wasn't a big fan of Alice or the book in general. Like when I was in college, I studied the poem like the Bandersnatch. Or no, I mean the Jabberwocky, and like the one that started "'Twas Burling and the slimy toad did gyre and burn the wind." Oh, let me see whatever. It's hard to pronounce. Like I know how to read, but it's hard to pronounce. So I'm sorry if I butchered the poem. Like that poem was the reason like I wanted to read Alice, because I loved it. I was intrigued by it. Even when I see the movie, I love the poem. And I don't know what to say, like the book was okay but not that much. Like when I was reading the book, I can't remember in the movie as I mentioned before, and there were some characters that weren't in the first book and some poems. The language is weird. Like maybe if I was young I would love it, but I think when I was young I wouldn't have understand anything. Like I wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. Like if you love the book, that's great, but for me, I didn't love it. It was an okay book. Like I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, but that's it. Like I think the reason is I wanted to read the book is that the second movie, Alice Through the Looking Glass, released this year. I think in the UAE it will be released after Eid. I know some people watched it, and that's why I wanted to read the first book and the second book. But the first book wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. Yeah. The second book I finished in April is the sequel, Through the Looking Glass, also by Lewis Carroll. I will say the second book is much better than the first book for me. Like they were okay, both of them, but for me the second one was much better. Like I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, but still I don't think it's a series or like the book in general I'm gonna reread again. I think one time is more than enough. The only reason I might reread it is for the poem, but that's it. Like the sequel is that we see Alice in her home and that she entered the Looking Glass and she steps back to the world of Wonderland, and it's not like how she remembered it. Like she meet the Red Queen, she see the Jabberwocky, the Bandersnatch, and everyone, but still the language, like, what am I reading. Like half the time I'm not understanding anything. The illustrations are really beautiful, but like please finish the book. That's it. Like that's how am I feeling when I read the book. I mean, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast. Yeah, but that's my opinion about the book. If you love it, that's great. But for me, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. The third book I read in April, which is my favorite of the year, like my first favorite book of 2016, it is, drum roll please, is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles. I love this book. It's amazing. It's perfect. Please read it. Like, I've seen so many people read hype about it, the book to board, and every time I see a video about it, it's like all they know is that those who haven't read it, that it's fairy tale retelling, Cinderella, cyborg and machine, and I'm sold. Like, I love cyborg, I love machines, and I like fairy tale retelling. Also Cinderella, I grew up watching Cinderella, and I was also reading this book. Even when I read the synopsis, I was like, I have to read it now. Like, I'm drawn to it. And the book talks about Cinder, who lives in New Beijing. And this world, like, she's an Earth, like our Earth, but a few years ahead. That it's like after the World War III or IV. I don't know how to read the Roman numbers. Like I know until 3 or 4, but that's it. It's confusing for me to read Roman numbers. And in this world, there are cyborgs who are like looked down upon. People don't like cyborgs who are half machines, half human. And Cinder is one of them. She's half cyborg, half human, and I mean half machine, half human. That's what cyborg is. And she lives with her stepmother and her two stepsisters. Her stepmother and one of her stepsisters don't like her. Like, they treat her as a slave. Like, she just go to the shop and work. And Cinder's considered a really good mechanic. She's one of the best. And her other stepsister really likes her. Like, she's kind to her, she's sweet to her, like she talks with her and everything. And one day her stepsister gets sick with the plague. This plague is that when someone gets a black spot, it's like they're dead. Like, there's no cure. They couldn't find any cure. And in this world, there are people called the Lunars who live on the moon. And they also, like, they look down upon the humans. Humans don't like them. Lunars don't like humans. It's like, and on this earth that, as I mentioned, it's like after the World War III or IV, the earth is plagued with diseases and like famine. Oh my god. Like, the earth is like, it's being destroyed because of all the wars, like the missiles and everything. That New Beijing is the place they can live. Like, they can breathe fresh air. Not fresh air, but it's a place they can live peacefully. But there's the issue of the plague. And one day the royal prince, the crown prince I mean, he goes to Cinder, and he doesn't know that Cinder is actually a cyborg. He thinks of her as a human, and he gives her his robot. He tells her it's a matter of life and death, please fix it and everything. And Cinder doesn't tell the prince that she's a cyborg, or like she hides the fact that she's a cyborg because everyone hates her, like, or dislike her, or doesn't want to be in her presence. And she falls for the prince. Like, every girl in this country, they fall for the prince. They love the prince. They want to meet him. They want him to marry them. And eventually Cinder loves him. Like, she falls for him. And she hides the fact that she's a cyborg because she feels that one day, if he finds out, he will hate her. And there are so many surprises in this book. Like, I don't know how to explain anything because it's mind-blowing. Like, I was awake until 2 in the morning, and I remember, like, it was before 2 in the morning, I want to say, that it came to the part I was so surprised. I was sure, like everyone in the house is sleeping but me, and I was shocked. Like I didn't see that coming. Like yes, in the book I had so many theories. Like I became one of those who are conspiracy theories. Those who think, oh, are there aliens who built the pyramids and everything? I became one of them. Like I had so many theories, and every time I come up with a theory, oh no, it's wrong. Wow, like I'm like, wow, it's so amazing, so brilliant. The writing, everything, the whole story is like, I know I'm like this, but this is me. This whole story is amazing. It's brilliant. Please read it. I give the book five out of 5 stars. It's amazing. Please, please, please read it. You won't regret it. Just go head to the book without knowing everything but that it's a fairy tale telling Cinderella side book, and that's it. You're sold. Like that's how I got into it, and I know you'll like it. And yeah, please read the book. Please. Finally, the last book I read in April, it is The Iron Child by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, the first book in the Magisterium series. I have to be honest, I didn't think that I would love the book. Like, all I heard about is like, it's the same as Harry Potter. If you like Harry Potter, you like this one also. And I was drawn to it, like I was interested to read it. And in the beginning, I will say that the book was steady. The book talks about a boy called Caleb Hunt, and he's 12 years old, and he's always told by his father to fail in the test if it's related to magic. That all the time his father tells him like you have to fail the magic test. If you go to the magisterium, which is the academy or the school, kids learn the ways of magic, that they will use you, they will kill you, like there's so many things that his father tells him, that the magisterium are bad, the mages are bad and everything, that Caleb believes it. And when there's a test of the magisterium that they have to enter the school, Caleb fails the test. He deliberately fails the test, and even though he can ace it, but he failed the test because his father tells him. And he's surprised that at the end of the day, he passed the test. He is going to the magisterium. And Caleb, one of his legs isn't right, like he walks with a limp, so he can't run like the rest of the students. And at first, Caleb is alone, like he doesn't have many friends. Like when he starts, he doesn't have any friends. Even when he goes to the magisterium, he doesn't make a lot of friendship. It wasn't until later on that he befriended 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I forgot the name, typical me, only remembering the name of the main characters. And he's surprised to know that the magisterium, it is the school they learn in, is not what his father told him to be. Like he always believes his father, but he's surprised that the school is different, and he's beginning to doubt himself. Like, what if his father's what his fathers told him that all lies? Like it may not be true. And I don't know why I'm stumbling with the words. I mean, at the first when I read the book, I was kind of excited, but it's like it was sedate, like okay. Like I thought I would give it 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I was surprised to finally give it either a 4.5 or a 5 out of 5. 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. I'm like surprised because I was also coming up with theories the same as Cinder, and I didn't think that this character is going to be like this, and I was shocked in the end of who Caleb was. I'm like, what? Like it's the same as Cinder. Like it was nearing 2 o'clock in the morning when I found out who Caleb was, like how Caleb is related to all of this. I'm like thankfully no one woke up, but I'm like, what? I was so shocked, so surprised. Like when I was reading the book, I kept hiding the lower pages, or not the lower pages, like the lower paragraph, so that I didn't get spoiled. And I was totally shocked. Like one of his friends becomes something. I'm like, what? I thought it was going to be Caleb, and Caleb becomes something. I'm like, oh my god, 2 books in April that I felt are becoming one of my favorites. Cinder is definitely my favorite, and the Iron Child is like close to it, and I was really shocked. I will say that some people on Goodreads, or like when I read the comments, they didn't like the book, and they were saying, oh, how like the writers, like they stole the idea of Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling and they made it their own. I will say, I feel it's bad to say that, because every writer has their own unique way to like create the story. Yes, it's the similarities between the Iron Child and Harry Potter is that a golden trio, like, or a trio of friends, a magic school, they're learning magic, and there is like an evil force, and how can I say it? They're kids, like 11, 12 years old, who are entering the school. But there are differences, like in Harry Potter, they learn magic with their wands, and in the Iron Child, they don't use their wand. They use the energy, like the magic, like surrounding them, and like even the creatures, like it's different from Harry Potter. Yes, there are similarities between it and Harry Potter, but it's not like a copy and paste. Like it's not, oh, they copied the Harry Potter but they only changed the name. Like no, it's like there are similarities, but it's totally different. Like I will say yes, I like Harry Potter, and yes, I like this one also. So that's me, but maybe you won't like it. But I feel like it's bad to say, oh, they're hating the book because it's the same as Harry Potter and everything. But then like there are differences, you know. And as I mentioned, if I mentioned it, like I gave the book 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. Also, I feel it's going to be my favorite of the year, and that's all I read in April. And yeah. So sorry if this video was really late, and I apologize if I was talking too fast. And if you have read any of this book, please comment down below and what you think about them. And thank you for watching. Bye.